Welcome to the Caravan Show, where we discuss all things caravans. That's right, everything you need to know about caravans, from weights, towing, maintenance, appliances, renovations, buying a caravan, repairs, destinations and reviews. We'll also chat with some Aussie legends, manufacturers, suppliers and of course people who love caravans. Take it away, Roy.
So good morning, folks. It's Roy West here from the Caravan Show podcast once again. And this morning I've got Mayor Rick Britton from Boulia on the line. Good morning, Rick. How are you?
Good morning, Roy. Very well, thank you.
Mate, you're the Lord Mayor there. How long have you been Lord Mayor of Boulia?
Oh, I don't know about Lord Mayor, mate, but this is my fourth term, so I'm going into 12, 13, 14 years. And
you're elected into that position each time?
Mate, last time, all the other times was, this time I got in unopposed. So I take it that the community of Boulia and our wider Shire are happy is what we're doing with the community.
That's a big thing. And you're obviously a local resident too. So you've got a station or something there, is that correct?
Yeah, mate, we've got a breeding, fattening property. I'm the fifth generation. In the Boulia Shire. So, yeah, mate, I'm nearly a local.
Nearly a local. But you are a fair income Aussie for sure. Mate, my listeners are really interested in all things caravanning. And you're, I believe you're about west of Winton, is that right?
Yeah, mate, we're 365 kilometres west of Winton and 300 kilometres south of Mount Isa.
Oh, wow. So you really are out back there, aren't you?
Yeah, we're as outback as what you can get.
You know, as Australia comes out of this COVID-19 pandemic, and we've heard so much about that, and I guess we're all kind of sick and tired of it, but people are really thinking now about where they want to go and what they want to do. We're guessing that our overseas travel is likely to slow down as more and more Australians are looking to travel domestically. And what really blows my brain with this is we've got such a massive country with so much diversity and so much to offer. It kind of blows my mind that they even bother going overseas in the first place. Now, Boulia's got to be one of those places. What is there to see at Boulia?
Well, mate, as previous mayor, it's a bit Irish. He always said, there's nothing to see out here, but you've actually got to come to see it. It's a vast open landscape, treeless Mitchell grass downs, sunrises and sunsets that, I think I always use a catchphrase that, Namatjira, the Aboriginal painter, would very hard to get the colour right because it's so vast and the colours so vary and the landscape varies so much.
So it's a painter's paradise is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's just, I think it's in all, because we have no lights, so isolated, people are standing that they can just lie on the lawn in town or at the caravan park and they wonder and they're amazed at how many stars are actually in the sky because it's so big and vast that, the stars really do shine at night.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting too. You're saying there's no light, but actually, isn't that one of your secrets out down your way? Aren't there some sort of special light shows that find their way every now and again called the Min lights or something?
Yeah. Well, Boulia is renowned for the land of the Min light, and it's catch with it's a phenomenon that's an unexplained light, and it has got something to do with our vast landscape and flat landscape. That light does come around up through the atmosphere, but it's an unexplained light. Boulia Shire has got a show in town here that explains. There's 5 or 6 mannequins explaining in different sceneries of what they think the light is and people's experience of actually seeing it. It's pretty unique in itself. I'll give you an idea of how this light has probably slipped by everyone and it's still unexplainable.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds fascinating. I mean, personally, I'd like to think it's a UFO that's camped down at Winton or something that pops up every now and again to see what's going on down your neck of the woods.
Yep, it is.
Mate, how well do you cater for caravanners in Europe? I mean, is there caravan parks? Is there free campsites for them?
Mate, there is a caravan park in Boulia, right on the side of the picturesque Burke River. I suppose the view there is we would like people to stay in the caravan park because it's supporting a local business. We've got a young family that have taken that over now. There is camping in and coming in and out of the Shire, but we would like people to use the caravan park in town because what it does is some more small businesses, and we really rely, or that business really relies on those caravanners, and you're interacting with locals, and that's the sort of thing that really does bring out the character of the bush. Is if you're travelling out here to interact with the locals, so you get the real story and the real feel of what it's like to live in rural, remote Australia.
So you mentioned the river there. Did you say the Burke River?
We're on the Burke River, named after the famous Burke and Wills explorer. There is a point there where supposedly through history that they fill their water bags up on the way to the north. So, yeah, mate, and the water, most times of the year, that water hole right on the edge of the creek, the river there is full. So it's a picturesque of its own.
Is there fishing there and boating? Can you do all those sorts of activities? Yeah.
There is some fishing. The locals, Aboriginals, say that it's only a special time of the year that they bite, but there is fish there at times. So, yeah, and it's very picturesque, and the people do a really good job of actually making sure that it's a welcome sight when travelling over vast distances.
So obviously you've got a reasonable Indigenous population there. Is that affecting this COVID-19 release? Are we still able to come into your area?
Yeah, mate. As of I see the government announced yesterday, as of midday today, as long as the caravan park and those people have got COVID-19 plans, we're allowed to take caravanners and would welcome them people to come in. And I think one of the issues that, if you're an elderly person, we don't have a pharmacy in town to make sure that they've got all their health stuff with them, just as a precaution, and that we want to be able to look after them and have them enjoy their trip.
Yeah, I mean, you are remote, so people have to bear that in mind. There's always a flip side to remoteness is that they need to have a fair degree of self-sufficiency when they're coming into town, so making sure they're stocked up with local goods where they can, obviously. But what about art and crafts? So we mentioned before about painting, but are there other local arts and crafts? Can you buy from the Indigenous community?
Mate, there is now. We've said the Waddy Tree store has opened up. It's a historical type building on its own. It used to be the Dunue, was the original hawkers in this area. One of the storekeeper here has turned it into a tourist type centre that sells Aboriginal paintings and artefacts. So, yeah, mate, there is stuff there, and I think that's something that is probably untapped into rural, remote Australia. And as our roads get sealed and get better travelling for everyone in a car and caravan, that there's a very open niche market for that, and the local business person in here has taken that first step.
What about repairs? Is there somewhere that people can get cars repaired or serviced if they need to, and of course caravans?
Well, mate, the local store is, as you remember, can take that we're very remote. He's a one-stop shop. Now, council has a contract mechanic, but he does do work after, private work as well. And at the moment, we're lucky enough that one of our school teachers here, her husband is also a mechanic, and he's doing mechanical work, electrical and repairs. So at the moment, mate, we're very fortunate to have those people. So if there is some minor damage or on the way to Boulia, if you happen to have a mishap, we can get you back on the road.
So what sort of land area do you cover? How many acres or kilometres do you have?
Mate, the Boulia Shire itself is 621,000 square kilometres. It's a pretty big shire.
Ooh, yeah.
We're 370 or 365 kilometres west of Winton, and as I said, 300 south of Mount Isa. It's a 400 kilometre trip down to Birdsville. Like if you want to turn up in Boulia, you could actually go down to Birdsville into the Diamantina Shire. You're getting right into the heart of the Channel Country. there's only 60 kilometres of dirt between Boulia and Bursville now. And if you really want to see the open country and the desert country, you could do a day trip down there. They have caravan parks, so you could come out and spend a fortnight or better out in the remote Australia and see the vast open landscape.
That sounds absolutely beautiful. I mean, right now I'd love to be there, quite frankly. Where else would you want to be in the world? So what sort of population do you have there?
Mate, there's 400 to 500 people in our Shire. We're over 50% of Aboriginal. The major workforce in Boulia is either council or in the beef industry. It's all beef, natural grazing, rangeland country. We have the Boulia Township that's got about 200 to 300 people in, and then Urandangi to the north. It's a pub. They've got a little tourist operation going up there. It's a remote. The population there can be from 10 to 30 at times. It's an old droving town. All the cattle used to come out of the territory through Urandangi and then truck out through the Jar railhead. So, yeah, it's a unique building on itself.
So what sort of impact would caravanners have to the local economy? I mean, how many people would you like to see come through, or how long would you like them to stay? I mean, how much impact is it really going to have, and can you cater for these people if they do get there?
Oh, mate, look, probably between 100 to 200 people a day could come through. That'd be, we could handle that and sort of probably just turn up in dribs and drabs. There is a isolated pub, Middleton, between Winton and Boulia. If you want to meet some really good bush characters, Lester and Val came at Middleton. He'll tell you the story. Depends on how many drinks you want to spend there. He's a character on his own. The Middleton pub is an overland from the Cobb and Co days. But I think Lester and Val, particularly Lester, he's as big a legend as what the pub is itself.
Yeah. Rick, tell me, because you've been there so long, there's obviously some little secrets, little spots or things to do in your area that you wouldn't find on Google. If you had to pick, say, 3 special little places in your area, what would you suggest people go and have a look for?
Mate, probably the Police Barracks. If you enter town and come to our tourism centre, they can guide you up to there. It was a police station based. It's about 35 kilometres north of Boulia. There's a dirt road up to it, but it's a well maintained road. The view up there, it's right on the edge of the Burke River to the north. It's a very unique. There's a little barbecue picnic area up there. It's a very unique waterhole area. And then probably as you're coming from Winton out, Middleton would be I'd be calling into there, and then the Hamilton Hotel. It's an abandoned hotel now, but there is facilities there, and they're the sort of places where if you pull up and do camp there on your way to Boulia, you really do see the stars and the vast landscape. And I think that is, you can't put a price on that. The openness is priceless out here, and the different landscapes every time you cross a river system, because if you leave Longreach, you've got the mighty, it's the Thompson River there, but it flows on down into the Cooper. Then you have the Diamantina River, and then you have the Hamilton River, and then you've got the Burke River as you come further west. And every time you cross a river system, the landscape changes. Every 100 kilometres is a vast different type of landscape, and that is, I think you can't buy those views.
No, you certainly can't. Tell me about wildlife. Last time I went through that way, I was absolutely astonished on the diversity of wildlife that I saw actually just from the road travelling through the towns. I was blown away by just, the diversity. So you obviously have quite a lot of natural native wildlife.
Yeah, we do, and that's probably something that we haven't tapped into on what is actually here, because if you think over the years of the man-made waters and those that have been put in now, so probably over the last 100 years, this country out here, we're running more beef so more kilos of beef being produced. And because of the waters, there's probably a lot more ecosystems here now and all the time, because, back in the days before the man-made waters, if we had a drought, there would have been probably only 5 or 6 permanent water holes within the whole Shire. But now that we've got all these man-made waters, there's whole ecosystem being developed around those. So I'd say the ecosystem in the wildlife is probably really flourished in those years, and that's why we have such a vast numbers of them.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Rick, if I hadn't have got you on this show this morning, what would you have been doing right now?
Oh, well, mate, it's funny. I've got a yard full of cattle to draft, and I've got a road train loading some cattle at another yard to bring in here. And so we're processing at the moment and selling cattle with the market that's rising. So at the moment, there's a lot of beef being moved around within northern and western Queensland. So probably another catch is, the caravanners are coming out. Please pay respect to these large vehicles. They're 150 metres long, 90 to 100. I'll get that right directly. They're 150 metres long, mate. They're probably 3 triple road trains, 40 tonne of trailer. So you're looking at 150 tonne. So if you see them coming, they're on channel 40. Polite thing is if you put your blinker on, call them up, so I'll get off the side of the road for you. They are very much appreciated, because 85 kilometres an hour, it takes a long time to get anywhere if they've got to stop and pick up speed again. Excellent
tip, Rick. Thank you for that. These are the sort of tips that our listeners want to hear as well. Look, Rick, you've been fantastic, and I've taken up a fair portion of your morning here with this, because we had a bit of a chat before we started. What would you say to those mayors out there in those areas that aren't inviting caravanners in the way you guys are?
Oh, mate, look, our businesses, the tourists that made it, the caravanners are our major business. Local businesses, as the beef industry and the council, we keep the local hotel and all our businesses ticking along, in the off-peak times, just keeping them bouncing along. But the motorhomes and all the caravanners and that, they're the life, bread and butter of our businesses in town. And we can't afford those businesses to move out, because once they leave a rural community, it's very hard to get those businesses re-established. So, we would like them to come out and really appreciate and meet the locals and interact with us, because we like to show off what we have, and we're pretty proud of where we bloody live.
Good on you, Rick. Again, look, mate, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing that with us this morning. And those folks that are listening, come on down, get out there to Boulia. What a great place to go. There's interesting characters. There's lots to see if you actually open your eyes and look. So many of us travel through, like I've done. I've done this myself. I've travelled through places like Boulia and not actually stopped and taken the time to have a really good look. But now's a great time to do it as our country opens up. Our state's now fully open. You don't need to travel that far. And when I say that, you don't need to spend 15 or 20 hours on an aeroplane going to some other country where they don't speak the language, they don't use the money, and you don't meet interesting characters like Rick Britton. Rick, thanks again, and hopefully we'll catch you on the flip side.
Okay, mate. You have a great day.